Stand up and get crunk. Da-na-na-na. We have some more Texans football this weekend. We're taking on the Miami Dolphins, and I have the top players to watch in this matchup. It's going to be a good one. They've had some joint practices all week long, and hey, Texans have been looking good out there. Jalen Petre, I did a video yesterday. He's been looking pretty good out there. I'll give you 7 names to watch out for in this preseason matchup. But before we do, I told you last week, maybe a little special promotion. Get down there and predict the score of this game. If you get it right, hey, I'm having a watch party this weekend on Saturday. Houston Texans versus the Miami Dolphins. If you get it right, possibly a little surprise for you. Get down in the comment section right now and give me your score prediction for this preseason matchup. Well, I'd be off my rocker if I didn't have CJ Stroud number 1 on this list, because that's who every single Texans fan should have their eye on. First game against the Patriots wasn't what we hoped. Only had 2 drives, had an interception on his first drive. But, I took a little bit of time this week. I wanted to do a little deep dive into some more like CJ Stroud advanced stats that he had last year at Ohio State. And this is what I came up with. Here's the good. The adjusted throwing percentage, 71.8. Pretty good. That includes like drop passes, plays where there was penalties. 71.8 for adjusted completion percentage. The turnover-worthy plays, only 3.7. That's really good for that statistic. That means, throws that should have been intercepted, throws or plays that should have maybe or did result into a turnover, only 3.7 out of his plays had that. So that's really good. Big time throw percentage, 6.6. Now, that is like tight window throws, amazing acrobatic throws. 6.6 of his plays, he had a big time throw like that. That is also a very good advanced stat in favor of CJ Stroud. And ADOT, that means average depth of target, 10.6. That's another, click it in the good column for CJ Stroud. That means, whenever his receivers went out for a target, the average depth that they ran their routes was 10.6 yards. Pretty good. He's not just dinking and dunking here and there. Now, I went to the good. Here's the bad. The pressure to sack percentage, 12.5. That means, whenever he got pressured, the amount of plays where he got pressured that resulted in a sack, 12.5, not very good. He needs to get better. Like I had said in previous videos, he needs to get better at avoiding pressure, having a better pocket presence. And you see there also the scrambles. Only had 12 scrambles last season. He needs to get that up. He needs to be able to scramble more in the NFL, because even with a decent offensive line, there are some amazing pass rushers in the NFL, and he's going to be able to have to evade that. And this isn't really an advanced stat per se, but just something I noticed watching some film, like watching, him play last season. He plays bad in the cold. I mean, obviously, he's playing for the Houston Texans. Not going to have to worry about that as much. He plays in the AFC South against the Jaguars, the Titans, and the Colts. Also another dome team. But for some reason, his worst games, usually happen in the cold. I don't know if that just is a scheduling where the tougher games were later in the season, or if there is something to that. He's from California. If him playing in the cold does affect him, but not as efficient playing in cold weather games. Now, I want to hear from you at home, because we've had some mixed opinions. I'm still in favor of CJ Stroud. I'm still on the CJ Stroud hype train, but I want to hear from you folks at home. What's your confidence level in the Texans quarterback right now? This instant. You're watching this video right now. Look deep within. Look deep within yourself and say, hey, how confident am I in my quarterback right now? Give it to me on a scale of 1 to 10. This is going to be the pinned comment of today's video. You'll get an ad break. You'll have some time to think about it, time to ponder it a little bit. Now let me know how confident you are in CJ Stroud. Next up on my list, I've been talking about the receivers, getting a lot of hype for Tank Dell. John Mechie, obviously, great story. I think he's been playing well as well. But somebody that I wanted to highlight on today's video, a lot of you fans have been on this as well. Xavier Hutchinson, the kid out of Iowa State, the late round pick. He's been playing pretty well. I love his game. He's a very fluid route runner. It gets open, it seems like effortlessly sometimes. I am very high on Xavier Hutchinson, and I want to see some more of him. I want to see some more targets his way against the Miami Dolphins. He's looked good in joint practices so far, but I want to see more out of Xavier Hutchinson. So, Xavier, I'm going to have my eyes on you against the Miami Dolphins. Next up on the offensive side of the football, Michael Dieter. And the reason why he's on my list today, he had an okay game, wasn't the best against the New England Patriots, but to be noted, he's an interior offensive lineman. He's been getting reps at left tackle. He's been getting reps at the tackle position because of the injuries to Charlie Heck. Greg Little is on IR. Titus Howard obviously had hand surgery. He's going to be out for a little bit. Do they maybe, flex Michael Dieter out there? They like what they have in Fant as a backup right tackle, but do they put him out there? Because Austin Deculus was atrocious against the New England Patriots. Are they worried about that tackle depth? They've been moving Dieter around. Like I said, most of his time in the NFL, he's been on the interior, but I'd like to see maybe do they flex him out to a tackle against the Miami Dolphins. Now, I'm going to be bringing you Texans news and rumors all year long, daily videos. I'm going to have some live shows. Like I said, I'm going live on Saturday, Texans versus Dolphins. Be there or be. But I'm trying to get to 5K subscribers before the regular season so I can show my bosses and say, hey, put it on the table. Look at Texans fans right here. They're showing out. They deserve more live watch parties. The only way I can do that is if all of you go down and hit the sub button. So go do that right now if you haven't already for free Texans coverage all year long. Next up on my list, it's Mike Boone. He's played very well so far in training camp. The first preseason game, he looked pretty good, had some electric runs, had a nice catch out of the backfield in that preseason win. But the reason why he's my player, one of my players to watch, is because the Texans made a roster move this week, and that was kind of surprising to me. They cut the rookie UDFA Xavier Hutchinson, recently signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think that's kind of a nod to Mike Boone from the Texans coaching staff. Say, hey, you're our RB3. You're our guy after Pierce, after Singletary. You're the next guy up. So I'm going to have my eyes on him to see how much playtime he gets against the Miami Dolphins and what he can do out of the backfield. We went over the offensive players. Now I got some defensive players for you to watch. I didn't forget about the defensive side of football. I did not. And the first one up for me, Jake, call him whatever you want. Mr. Martin, he's on my radar because he looked very good against the New England Patriots getting off the ball. Him and Grenard, those first couple drives for the defense, he was electric getting off the ball. He has a very quick get off, a little bit undersized for a D end, but I really like him in like sub packages, being able to get after the quarterback, kind of, bring some speed element to the defensive end position. And I'm going to be keeping an eye out for him because Chase Winovich has been practicing this week. And I just really wonder when it comes down to the Texans 53-man roster, which of these guys they keep. Because I think how they play in the preseason, how they play for the rest of the training camp is really going to determine what Caserio, what DeMeco Ryans does on roster cutdown day, which we'll be giving you videos for that as well. That's why you subscribe. But I really wonder what they're going to do here because I think they only keep one. It's either going to be Jacob Martin or Chase Winovich. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section. If you were Nick Caserio and I said, hey, we can only keep one of these guys, which one are we keeping? Let me know what you would do. Type JM for Jacob Martin. Type CW for Chase Winovich. Next up, another winner, another really good, performance from last week. Kurt Hinish. He has been really, really showing out at the defensive tackle position. And with Hassan Ridgeway currently injured, it's going to be a lot more run for Hinish against the Miami Dolphins. This is him against the Patriots. He got a ton of pressures against that Patriots offensive line. Looked very good. Has really impressed the coaching staff during practice. I wonder how much run he's going to get and if he's able to get the same pressure against a different offensive line in the Miami Dolphins. I have Hinish on my radar because he's been playing so well so far in training camp. Last one up, NJ Stewart. He's been getting into some scuffles at training camp. I'm really more interested in him because of the safety room. I don't know exactly where he fits. I think the Texans are only going to keep 4. Obviously, Jimmy Ward, our sweet prince, Jalen Petrie, they're locks. I think Murray is a lock. MJ, him, the 7th round pick this year, Hill. I don't know where they decide to go. I think it's going to be Stewart, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes on him against the Patriots, and also Grayland, this whole safety room, for a matter of fact, because I'm really interested behind Ward, Petrie, and Murray. Who are the other one guy or 2 guys that they keep in this safety room? Now, that's been all for me today. Thank you for watching the entirety of today's Texans Today video. Y'all are real ones, and if you want more Texans news, rumors, the dankest memes on the internet, go follow me on X or Twitter, whatever you like to call it, at Jeremy Chuggs. I'll be giving you updates through the Twitterverse as much as I can, but you got to go follow me. Hey, first 10 people to follow me from this video, I'll give you a follow back from my Twitter. Just go to at Jeremy Chuggs on Twitter, hit that follow button, and that's been all for Texans Today. Don't forget, live on Saturday, Texans versus Dolphins. If you're not there, you're not a real one.